I'ma get it. You know I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way. Yeah, it's all hard, ain't no fear here. You ain't giving it to all, you steer clear. Never beat, I've been down and I reappear. You got some money on the line, you better put it here. 'Cause I be on the way.
All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack 2023 Fantasy Football Team Previews. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. Joining me today is Mike Bonni. What's up, man? Hey. Sound like AJ. Hey. Thanks, man. No, all good. Today on this episode, we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before we jump into that, I want to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave those comments. We appreciate it. And we, of course, want to ask you to go to fantasysixpack.net/plan to become an all-access member where you're going to get access to our award-winning fantasy football rankings, our draft cheat sheet, our season-long projections, our DFS and betting content, and then best of all, you get access to us directly on Discord where you can ask questions about your leagues, your custom trade advice questions, your waiver wire questions, you name it, it's all going to be there for us to answer and help you dominate and win this season. Without further ado, man, let's jump into our Steelers preview, and we'll be starting off here with the quarterback room. And it is Mr. Second Year Kenny Pickett leading the way here with Mitch Trubisky behind him here. Like, Pickett is not a QB anybody is drafting in a single QB league, but
please don't.
Good luck to you if you are. Not happening. So Superflex leagues, though, 2 QB leagues. Is he somebody who you're like, maybe it could work? I don't know. He's not somebody I'm really going after, but
unfortunately, I gotta say this reluctantly, but he would be fine, I guess, for your second quarterback if you decide to punt that in Superflex leagues and literally hope for the bottom barrel of the quarterback too. I mean, in 13 of his games, 9 of them he finished quarterback 2 or better. It wasn't anything great, but one was a quarterback 1 finish. So I mean, at least he can do it, I guess. But the bad thing is he was second in interceptable passes and dangerous throws, which means he just slings the ball wherever he wants. So it's not great for him, and he has a ridiculously low ADOT.
Yes, he does.
Yards per target, whatever, or attempt, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, he started off the season throwing 8 interceptions in his first 5 games. That's not bad, that's pretty bad. However, over the last 7 weeks of the season, now he missed 1 game.
He started growing a little bit.
He only threw 1 interception.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe he just got lucky. I don't know. I'm not watching all the tape on Kenny Pickett. I'm not watching all the tape on anybody. Study the stats. I do watch the games during the season, but I'm not going back and watching all game film. I don't have time for that shit.
And right now, the stats show the dude likes to throw the ball in very dangerous situations.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but I wonder how much of that was early on
before,
he got better. So exactly. Maybe just there's a little glimmer of hope. I'm not really buying into it. He does have some weapons. I just don't think he's the guy.
If you're in a Superflex league, though, you shouldn't be waiting this long to get him as your second quarterback. If you're a Superflex league, go for the 2 in the top 15 at least.
I mean, there's guys being drafted right around him. Derek Carr's, right? Stafford's just a few spots ahead of him. Go after those guys.
Yeah, Stafford and Derek Carr at least have had a top 12 finish before in their career.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm getting down to the Kenny Pickett range, I mean, you might as well just wait and take a Jimmy G and just hope he actually plays, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter at that point. Just go load up on other positions at that point.
Even Jimmy G was putting up decent enough numbers to,
and he's gonna have Devontae Adams.
Yeah, so
you just have to hope he stays healthy. So I'm with you there. No thanks on Kenny Pickett, but I mean,
if you
wait
have
that
to.
long, you're gonna have to. Someone's gonna have to draft him, right? So move over here to the running back room. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Anthony McFarland Jr., and Jason Huntley. Najee is
Interesting.
proven to be a decent fantasy quarterback. After his rookie season, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's going to be awesome. Let's draft him all over the place." Yeah, well,
The offensive line decided to turn shit.
the offensive line
Then
decided
again,
to absolutely suck. Big Ben was no longer around to drop 100 targets to him, just about. So his workload changed dramatically. However, they still run the ball like crazy with him. So he's still a very heavy volume back, but it's not very productive, on a per carry basis. We're talking, we're talking 3.9 yards per carry in his first year, 3.8 last year, duplicated the touchdowns at 7. It's just the targets, right? Targets went from 74 to 41, 94 to 53. Sorry. So the receptions went from 74 to 41. I mean, that is a massive, massive drop.
That's 20 points right there just from balls catched. PPR, at least.
33, actually.
Yeah.
Crazy. So, and then, because he did run the ball, an extra, he ran the ball, 30 to 40 times less last year. He had about 200 yards, about 150
It was weird.
yards.
They started off the year with him, with them reducing his workload for some reason. He was averaging 13 and a half carries from weeks 1 to 8.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But then from weeks 10 to 18, he was averaging, 18.2.
The bye week, they just were like, oh, yeah, that's right. We've got this guy over here who can actually play.
We drafted super high. Let's use him.
Yeah, so it was very weird. It could have also just been that, with Kenny Pickett, they weren't able to stay on the field very long in the beginning of the season. He was throwing a lot of picks. They obviously
focusing on Najee, stacking the box on him.
Yeah, they were trying to use Mitch early on too. That didn't work. Yeah. The offense stayed on the field a little bit longer in the second part of the year. They won a lot more games. So,
they hit
sometimes
that win streak.
Sometimes you got to look at the fact that there's just like the offense stayed on the field longer, and that's why he was able to see more workload. Because really his yards per attempt didn't really change. It was still just pretty mediocre, and he just kind of did what he did. So are you comfortable taking him at RB14? Is it a possible steal? Or do you think that's pretty fair?
If he continues what he saw from weeks 10 to 18, where he actually was getting 18 to 20 carries a game and was RB7 during that time, yeah, he could be a steal. But the fact that Jalen Warren is going to be used in the passing game more and probably a little bit more in the rushing game, it's a little bit worrisome for sure.
I agree with you. I've got him at RB10 and half PPR right now, so things will shuffle. But this is early June right now. That's where I've got him, so I would feel comfortable taking him there for sure. He's definitely a volume play back, and volume plays. So there you go. So let's move over here to the wide receiver room where. It's still to me. It's still a very talented receiving core. Diontae Johnson is somebody that I've been a big fan of. George Pickens came on and really showed some things last year. They brought in Allen Robinson, which we know it's not Allen Robinson from years past, but as a wide receiver 3, that might work.
That's sweet.
Miles Boykin, Calvin Austin III, and Gunnar Olszewski.
Yes.
Sure.
Olszewski.
Sure. So look, Diontae and George Pickens are going super close in drafts. Right now ADPs are, right around 34, 35, 36, 37, wherever you're looking right now. They're super close. Do you think they should be going around the same range like that, or do you think one of them should be much higher than the other?
I think one should be much higher, and I'm going to go on my little Diontae Johnson thing here because I'm super high on him this year. The touchdowns will come back. I mean, the past few years, he's been getting anywhere from 5 to 7 touchdowns. And last year, he drops a 0. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Drops a 0 with 18 red zone targets, too, which was 10th in the NFL. I don't know how he gets 0 out of that. It's kind of weird to me, but the fact that he's going behind George Pickens doesn't make sense to me. He was 6th in targets, 13th in target share with 27%, 14th in air yards, 2nd in unrealized air yards. So they're using him deep too. I mean, he wins his routes more than most players. He's 11th in that. Unfortunately, he has a low ADOT. That's probably helping his catch rate and all that stuff. But still, he should be drafted significantly higher than George Pickens, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Target share last year between those two was 27 to 15.
Insane.
So that's just crazy. You do kind of expect a little bit of a second-year leap from Pickens, so I kind of can agree with that. But
everyone's hating on Diontae for his wide receiver finish, and it was literally because he somehow got 0 touchdowns on that.
It's just because it's also because he'll have 11 targets and catch 5 for 60.
Yes.
He'll have 10 targets, catch all 10, still go for 98 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
He just didn't do anything with it, right?
Yeah.
To where Pickens
yards after catch isn't spectacular to say the least.
To where Pickens was taking half as many targets.
I mean, shit, he was 3rd
4
in
for 6.
George Pickens was.
He was catching 4 for 6 for 83 and a touch, right?
Yeah.
He has those games. 6 for 8, 102. 6 for 8 and 83, right?
Deontay's low average depth of target, so it's kind of hard for him to get going in the red zone, so I could see why his touchdowns aren't necessarily there, especially with Kenny Pickett not trusting himself.
I think where they're going in drafts, depending on how you built your receiving core or depending on how you built your team, right? If you took a little bit of risk early on, maybe Diontae's your guy, right? He's probably the safer play. He's going to get targets. He's going to get you PPR points out, out the wazoo, right? Safe, reliable, you're good. And
whole first touchdowns
probably not going to happen again.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. However, if you got some core, some stable guys up top that you can really rely on, Pickens might be a guy that, hey, I can take the roof off of this team. Let's go after Pickens and see if he breaks out.
There's absolutely no reason why he can be the number one guy too. He could take over Diontae Johnson as the guy, but who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm totally off of Allen Robinson, but especially in this offense where it's just going to be lacking passing work or production, I guess I should say overall. But it is very interesting that the Rams were like, here, you just have him. We don't want him
take
anymore.
A lot off.
Just take him. So let's finish off here with the tight ends, and we got a pretty good one here, man. Pat Freiermuth, Zach Gentry, and Darnell Washington. Is Freiermuth worth the investment as a top 10 tight end? I personally think he is. I like him a lot. I know there's holes in his game like there is the rest of this passing offense, but I really like some Pat Freiermuth.
And obviously they spent the pick on Darnell Washington, which that doesn't scare me. But he is the dude is pretty special as a player. Dude's like 6'6", can run pretty fast and catch the ball. But anyways, it's Freiermuth's tight end spot. Anyways, he had 98 targets last year.
Pretty special.
Low
tight ends, low touchdowns. 2. You went from 7 to 2. Okay.
Yeah,
just capped like 2 more touchdowns, man. You would have been.
The dude is literally top 10 in so much shit. 4th in air yards, 4th in unrealized air yards, 8th in ADOT. He's playing in the slot too, which is weird because they have Diontae Johnson, but draft him where he should be. Tight end 10, tight end 9, around there.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. So, all right, closing things out here. Thank you for listening and watching the Pittsburgh Steelers 2023 Fantasy Football Team Preview. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Like the video, leave those comments. We appreciate it, and check you out next time. See ya.
Take it easy.